Warm, golden buttery, savory, and sweet. Yummy! Hello everyone, this is Mama from Blessing by Design. I've got a wonderful recipe to share with you today. It's my sweet cornbread and sage dressing. It's delicious and easy to make. But first I want to quickly share with you a little suggestion for how you can shop for your weekly groceries using a digital planner that we here at Blessing by Design create. Digital planners are great for keeping everything in your life organized. Digital planners can sync to all of your devices, so you've got everything you need right at your fingertips, whether you're at home or on the go. We first need to make our sweet cornbread. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and start with combining all of our dry ingredients: flour, cornmeal, sugar, baking powder, and salt. We put all of these dry ingredients in a large bowl and stir it to combine. This cornbread is sweet, and if you prefer something a little less sweet, you can reduce the amount of sugar. Next, we're going to add 2 beaten eggs, our oil, and milk. Stir this until everything is incorporated. Next, take 2 9-inch round cake pans and spray them with cooking spray. Divide the batter evenly between the 2 pans. Now you're going to bake these in your preheated oven at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. If a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean, then the cornbread is done. Now set these aside because we're going to let the cornbread cool so that in a little bit we are able to break it up by hand. Decrease your oven temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. First, we want to dice a large yellow onion. The way I like to do this is to cut the onion in half through the root, then take each half and peel off the outer skin. Next, make vertical slices and then crossways slices to make a fine dice of the onion. Now, in a large skillet on medium heat, we are going to sauté our diced onions. Melt your 4 tablespoons of butter. To cook these onions, it's going to take about 10 to 12 minutes. You simply stir the onions, leave them for a couple minutes, come back, stir them again. This will happen several times until your onions have reached this nice golden color. When the onions are done, spoon the onions into a small bowl and set this bowl aside. Next, we're going to pour 1 cup of chicken stock, or you can use chicken broth, into the skillet that we cooked the onions in. Scrape the pan to loosen any brown onion bits that may still be in the skillet, and simmer the stock for just a few minutes. Remove the skillet from the heat and set this aside. Now we're going to take another skillet and put it on medium heat and place the remaining 12 tablespoons of butter in it. While that butter is melting, we are going to break apart our cooled cornbread in a very large bowl. I like to use my hands to break apart the bread, but of course you can always just cut it into bite-sized cubes. Be sure to use a very large bowl. I don't have a big, pretty, fancy bowl for this. I just use my plastic cake saver lid as my large bowl. Now back to checking on my melting butter. It's going to bubble and pop and probably mess up your stove, but it'll be all right. It may seem like we are using a lot of butter here, but this is a large dish that will serve 16 people. But feel free to cut the recipe in half by making half as much cornbread and half as much dressing that you can then bake in just an 8x8 dish. While that butter continues to start getting golden brown, I'm going to cut open my package of fresh sage leaves and trim the stems. All I want is just the leaves. My butter is ready now. It's just starting to turn a little bit darker, so I'm going to add my sage leaves into the butter. If you don't have fresh sage leaves, you can substitute 1 tablespoon of dried sage. Just stir it into the butter, and then we let the butter simmer until it's a deep golden brown. Oh, the smell from that sage and the butter, it is just wonderful. Now that my sage leaves are crisp, I will use a large slotted spoon to remove them from the butter and place them right on that crumbled cornbread to drain. This will ensure that they stay a little crispy, and when I stir up my ingredients, they will break apart. Now take your 4 large eggs and beat them babies up and pour them over the cornbread. Next, add those sauteed onions we cooked earlier. And now pour the browned butter that you cooked the sage in. We want to season with salt and black pepper as you desire. I like about 1 teaspoon of salt and a ½ teaspoon of black pepper, but I just eyeball it here and shake some on, but feel free to measure it out for yourself. And with a very large spoon, we want to stir this all together. Lastly, we add that warmed stock that's been infused with the onion from the skillet. Now we've got to stir, stir, stir some more. We want everything nice and well mixed. If you happen to use a different recipe for the cornbread, for this dressing, or you've bought some store-made cornbread, yours could be more dry than mine. I like to use my own cornbread that's made with equal parts flour and cornmeal for this reason. I don't want it to be too dry. You want the mixture to kind of smush together when pressed with your spoon until it holds its shape. So if you think yours needs a little more liquid, just splash on some more of that chicken stock or some water. Now in your lightly greased 9x13 baking dish, we're going to dump all this wonderful mixture into the dish and flatten it and smush it. It might take a little bit of smushing and squishing with our big large spoon here. Get it all in there nice. It's ready for the oven. We're going to bake it at 375 degrees for 30 minutes. And ta-da! This is going to be gobbled right up by all your holiday guests, friends, and family. Please comment and let me know what you think of this recipe. Now, for the full recipe, list of ingredients, and all the instructions, see my blog post link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching and have a blessed day.